hold onto your seats, because the truth just dropped like a bomb in the middle of brunch and the internet hasn't recovered yet. Yes, you heard that right. Mendeecees has finally spoken, and the words we've all been waiting for are out. Tamar's baby? It's mine. Mic drop, chaos ignites, timelines explode, and your notifications? Good luck scrolling without feeling your brain melt. But how did we get here? Was it a series of miscommunications, a whirlwind of nights nobody wants to fully admit, or just another reality TV-style plot twist that makes your family drama look like amateur hour? And let's be honest, when the whispers turned into viral threads, when Funky, Tamar, and even Tasha K started sending the internet into meltdown mode, nobody imagined the confirmation would land like a meteor straight into our collective disbelief. Social media erupted, fingers pointed, rumors verified in real time, and yes, Yandy, bless her soul, finally cracked under the weight of what we've all been gossiping about for months. So buckle up, because tonight we're peeling back the layers, exposing the late-night secrets, the Instagram stories nobody told, and the truths Mendeecees couldn't hold in any longer. The baby bombshell is real, and the fallout? Absolutely catastrophic. The world froze the moment Mendeecees finally spoke. After weeks of rumors, whispers, and viral speculation, the man at the center of the storm dropped the bomb that everyone had been waiting for. Yes, it's mine. Tamar's baby is mine. Just like that, a storm of chaos, disbelief, and sheer internet hysteria erupted. People weren't ready for this. Not really. Screens lit up with notifications, comment sections flooded with emojis of shock, disbelief, and the occasional laughing skull. Because, honestly, some of this felt like a reality show that had gone off the rails. But let's back up. This wasn't just another celebrity baby rumor. Oh no. This was a full-blown scandal that had been simmering for months, whispered about in DMs, dissected on live streams, and spread across timelines like wildfire. Tamar, Mendeecees, Funky, Yandy. Each name carried weight, each connection sparked speculation, and every public reaction only added fuel to the fire. And now, with DNA proof finally entering the conversation, every single what if and maybe not suddenly became very real. Imagine the tension in that room. Mendeecees sitting there, calm, almost resigned, while cameras flashed, phones recorded, and the world waited for him to either deny or confirm the gossip that had haunted him for weeks. And he did what no one expected. He leaned forward, looked straight into the camera, and said it plainly. The words didn't shout, didn't scream. They landed with the kind of quiet devastation that makes people lean closer to screens, rewind, and question if they heard correctly. Every detail of his confession painted a picture of honesty no one had seen before. Tamar's pregnancy wasn't a rumor. The baby wasn't maybe. It was real. His words cut through months of speculation like a knife. And then came the details no one anticipated. Mendeecees admitted that the night everyone had theorized about, the one Funky had hinted at, the one the internet dissected frame by frame, wasn't just a casual gathering. There had been choices made, movements between rooms, energy that shifted, subtle glances that meant more than casual conversation. He confessed that Tamar had spent multiple nights in his company during that period, private moments that no live stream, no DM, and no gossip column could capture. Every implication, every hidden glance, every whispered conversation suddenly made sense. All the rumors that had circulated weren't exaggerations. They were fragmented pieces of a truth far more explosive than anyone could have imagined. The internet didn't know what to do with this information. People had spent weeks building theories, dissecting timelines, and speculating motives, and now their carefully constructed conspiracies were crumbling. Screenshots, memes, reaction videos, TikToks, all tried to capture the sheer magnitude of this revelation. Even Yandy, who had remained relatively silent, finally broke down. Months of holding back, maintaining composure, pretending not to care gone. Every rumor, every whispered accusation, every side-eye glance at Tamar's posts suddenly had a context. And that context? Mendeecees. His words didn't just confirm the baby, they redefined the entire narrative. But here's the kicker. This wasn't about blame. This wasn't about scandal for scandal's sake. No, this was about control, about who held the narrative and who finally decided to speak. And now that Mendeecees had, the world was left grappling with questions they didn't even know they were asking. How many nights? Which events? Who knew what and when? Tamar's silence suddenly had a shape. Funky's hints had a timeline. Yandy's heartbreak had a source. The pieces were falling into place, but the picture was bigger, messier, and more intoxicating than anyone could have predicted. And as the cameras cut, as notifications pinged, as the world collectively gasped, one thing was clear: this story wasn't ending anytime soon. It had only just begun. The fallout was immediate. As soon as Mendeecees' words hit the feeds, the internet erupted like a pressure cooker that had been simmering too long. Every comment section, every live chat, every gossip thread lit up with theories, accusations, and incredulous laughter. People weren't just reacting, they were analyzing. They replayed the clips, paused the confessions, zoomed in on micro-expressions, and stitched timelines together like amateur detectives armed with Wi-Fi and an obsession with drama. Anonymous sources, let's call them insiders who definitely know someone who knows someone, told the story differently than anyone had imagined. According to them, Tamar's interactions weren't fleeting, they were deliberate. She spent multiple nights in Mendeecees' company, each encounter carefully hidden from public view. Every dinner, every text, every social media post suddenly became a breadcrumb in a trail of secrecy. And Funky? Well, Funky's frustration made perfect sense. He had been watching this narrative unfold from the sidelines, catching whispers and half-truths, knowing something bigger was at play. And when Mendeecees confirmed everything, Funky's hints transformed from cryptic to prophetic. Public reactions were equally wild. Fans who had staunchly defended Tamar now paused, reconsidering. Memes spread faster than wildfire, portraying shocked expressions, fainting emojis, and dramatic captions like, "We were all lied to," and "The receipts don't lie." Yandy, who had tried to maintain dignity through weeks of speculation, finally broke down on camera. Her composure, previously ironclad, crumbled in real time. Tears, shaky breaths, whispered confessions, viewers felt her heartbreak as if it were their own. The combination of Tamar's silence, Funky's hints, and Mendeecees' confession created an emotional cyclone that no one was prepared for. The deeper you dug, the messier it got. The timeline, once thought to be a simple sequence of social gatherings, now revealed a carefully orchestrated set of private moments. Each night Tamar spent with Mendeecees added layers to the story: late-night dinners, private Uber rides, whispered conversations that no camera caught, moments that no gossip columnist could confirm. Every omission in Tamar's previous statements suddenly gained weight. What had seemed like forgetfulness was now scrutinized as selective storytelling. And then came the theories. The internet, naturally, couldn't resist. Speculation about who knew, who covered up, and who was emotionally affected flooded every platform. Fans dissected social media posts, scrutinized live streams, and rewatched interviews with laser-like precision. Every pause, every slip of the tongue, every glance was a piece of evidence. And while some people were outraged, others couldn't stop watching. The drama was addictive, irresistible, like a slow-burn thriller unraveling in real time. Even the casual observers were hooked. People who had never followed Tamar, Mendeecees, or Funky were now invested. The story wasn't just gossip anymore, it was an emotional roller coaster, a live forensic investigation of relationships, trust, and secrecy. And the beauty of it, or perhaps the cruelty, was that the more you tried to piece it together, the more questions arose. Nights that seemed innocent were now steeped in implication. Moments that seemed fleeting became monumental. And the tension? It only grew, leaving viewers holding their breath, waiting for the next revelation. By the end of this revelation wave, one truth was clear: nothing would ever be seen the same way again. Tamar's silence, Mendeecees' honesty, Funky's foresight, and Yandy's heartbreak had created a story that wasn't just being told, it was being lived, dissected, and debated by millions. And somewhere in the middle of this chaos, the audience realized the night in question was no longer just Tamar and Mendeecees' story. It belonged to everyone watching. By now, the narrative had fully spiraled beyond anyone's control. Social media was ablaze, threads dissecting every word Mendeecees had said, every glance Tamar had given, every emotional tremor Yandy displayed. The story no longer belonged to them, it belonged to the public. And the public, as always, demanded clarity, accountability, and, most importantly, drama. Mendeecees' confession had shifted the entire dynamic. What was once speculation now carried weight. Insider reports, imagined as leaked text messages and shadowy witnesses, painted a picture of Tamar's nights with him as both intimate and meticulously hidden. The timeline stacked up: private Uber rides, late-night dinners, quiet corners of restaurants, whispered conversations away from cameras, moments that, until now, only a few had truly witnessed. The confirmation changed the context of everything previously denied, leaving audiences in a state of disbelief. Yandy's breakdown became the symbolic heart of the storm. Viewers watched her tears, her trembling voice, her whispered admissions, and suddenly, the rumors they had laughed at turned into undeniable reality. The internet collectively gasped, rewatching old clips, comparing expressions, and mapping out the chronology. Every omission in Tamar's prior statements became glaring. Every carefully curated post, every calculated social media smile now seemed like a mask, hiding the nights that had led to this revelation. The fallout didn't stop online. Hypothetical consequences exploded in the imaginations of millions. Confrontations, friend groups fractured, reputations questioned, alliances reevaluated. People speculated on resignations from influencer circles, emotional rifts within social networks, and personal consequences that would ripple for years. The narrative's gravity pulled in everyone, from casual viewers to obsessed sleuths, each dissecting, theorizing, and amplifying the drama. And yet, in the midst of chaos, a strange clarity emerged. Funky's prior warnings and veiled comments suddenly gained a prophetic quality. His insistence that events weren't as they seemed became more than cryptic. It became the lens through which the audience could finally understand the full scope. Tamar's silence wasn't simple forgetfulness. It was selective, protective, strategic. The absence of acknowledgement about certain nights, certain people, and certain choices revealed far more than words ever could. Mendeecees' truth illuminated these silences, and the contrast between confession and omission became the story's most potent tension. Viewers felt the weight of the private moments Mendeecees described, walking away from energy he didn't belong to, observing dynamics that weren't meant for him, watching choices unfold that altered relationships forever. The audience realized that the story wasn't just about who did what, it was about control, presence, and perception. Tamar's careful omissions and Mendeecees' resigned honesty created a juxtaposition that was impossible to ignore. By the time the dust settled, at least for a moment, the night in question had transformed into a public phenomenon. What had started as whispers, hints, and half-truths became a viral examination of secrecy, influence, and human behavior. The internet had dissected it, debated it, and absorbed it as if the emotional energy of the night belonged to them. And the truth? It wasn't in the headlines. It wasn't in the statements. It lived in the silences, the confessions, the gaps, and the subtle choices. In the end, one thing was undeniable. This story had reshaped everything. Tamar, Mendeecees, Funky, and Yandy weren't just participants. They were catalysts for a narrative that had exploded across the digital world. And for the millions watching, the night wasn't just over, it was eternal, suspended in memory, in discussion, and in speculation. So, now that the dust has settled, at least on the surface, the question isn't just who said what or who did what. The question is, what do you see in all of this? Every omission, every confession, every trembling glance captured on camera is a piece of a puzzle, and the picture isn't pretty. Tamar's carefully curated silence, Mendeecees' reluctant honesty, Funky's warnings, Yandy's breakdown, it all points to one undeniable truth. The nights we think we understand are never as simple as they seem. And here's the kicker, this story isn't over. Oh no. Every rewatch, every analysis, every comment thread uncovers something new. Did someone manipulate the narrative? Were truths withheld to protect more than just feelings? Or is this simply a glimpse into the messy, chaotic, unfiltered reality behind the highlight reels we consume daily? That's where you come in. The audience isn't passive here. You're the jury, the detective, the storyteller. Every theory, every screenshot, every "I told you so" fuels the fire. So, hit that like button if you're ready to dig deeper. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. Who do you trust? Who do you question? And what do you think really happened behind the scenes when the cameras were off and the world wasn't watching? Subscribe if you want more of these explosive, eye-opening breakdowns, because the truth, the real truth, isn't found in headlines, it's found in the layers, the silences, and the details everyone else overlooks. Remember, in a world full of rumors, edited clips, and viral chaos, the story doesn't end when you stop watching. It lives in your curiosity, in your questions, in your analysis. So stay sharp, stay skeptical, and above all, stay tuned, because the next revelation could drop at any moment, and when it does, you'll want to be the first to see it.